and in all Judea, and in Samaria, and unto the uttermost parts of the earth. Welcome to today's program, It's Really Supernatural, Acts of the Holy Spirit. I'm your host, Henry Schaefer. I believe in the supernatural, and God is on the move in these last days. Let's move into the program and see another chapter that could be written in the book of Acts. Hello and welcome, CSRE. I'm your host. Welcome to another episode of It's Really Supernatural. Man, I'm telling you what, it is August the 5th. It's feeling really good out here today.
Yes,
it's not
it
too
is.
bad. And I have my co-host in the program here with me, Dana. Good to have you, Dana.
It's good to be here tonight.
We're going to have a great time
Yes,
here tonight.
we are.
I don't know, been running around trying to get all this stuff here all setting up
Right.
In here and everything. So we want to let everybody know that, listen, we've got some new things going on here as far as, back at the first of the year, we had a fundraiser.
Right.
We did a lot of things, asked people for some finances to do some things here at the church, at the radio station. And what we've been able to do is to put some video cams in and do some different things that we need to do here as well. So we're telling everybody what you need to do is go to YouTube. And now listen, everyone, this is how you look at us right now. Go to YouTube and go to Studio WUCC 999.FM. FM, and then you go there. When you get there, there'll be a little live button down there now. It pops up when you go to that channel, and you can look right on into
Watch
the
us
studio
right now. That's right.
now. So we're learning how to do all this stuff here, so that people can check in. We get a lot of views on YouTube, man. We have got a lot of subscribers.
Yes.
That we get thousands of hits on some of these things.
And that's awesome.
And so it's doing pretty good. So I want to encourage people to go there, and then as well that you can go to cwchrist.com and go to the right-hand side of the screen. And if you're getting out of your vehicle, traveling down the road right now, but you're getting ready to leave out, go get you something to eat on Friday. That's why we do Friday.
That's right.
Because everybody's in their vehicle going out. Then you can go right on out there. And on that side of the screen, cwchrist.com, click on that red button on your smartphone or tablet. Take us right on in anywhere you need to take us. So we're excited about that. So help me out here, Dana, here. What are we going to be talking about? Let's talk about open forum.
Open forum tonight,
We're going to do open forum.
Well, we've picked up a couple of things that we're going to do tonight. We're going to be talking about this Pokemon phenomenon that's going on.
Yeah, we got a video we can run on that.
Yes, we do. It's a good video, too. I saw it today. And then we're going to talk about transplant body parts.
Wow.
And praying over your food. Yeah, some things we've learned.
Wow. So we're going to be, and now we want to go ahead and let you know that you can call in.
Yes,
an
anytime.
Open forum. If you call in right now and say, hey, I got something I want to talk about, then we'll put all this off to the side.
That's
we'll
right.
We'll put it there behind us. But it's really supernatural, and you keep it supernatural. I mean, don't drag us down this road of normal. That's the other.
Right.
That's the other
That's
program.
Right.
So it's got to be supernatural. The things that we're talking about. So phone line is
803-335-3131.
Okay.
I'll say it again. That's 803-335-3131. Call us in anytime during this program for the next hour.
We got you up on the screen here, Dana. You're looking good.
All right.
Got you looking good here on the screen here.
These new cameras are nice. They're very clear.
I want them to look at it, check us all out. I think I'm on number 4. Let's see
4.
what I'm looking like.
Yeah, there you are.
Everybody?
We got you close up, too.
Yeah.
That's right, Pastor.
They're looking all right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, this is the way.
You got them both up now.
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is the preview screen over here on the right.
Right, yeah.
Got 2 of us up there.
That's right.
And I think, Dana, you're a little bit, put you back over here.
No, that's okay. You can keep it the way it was.
There you go, just
that's
like
right.
that. So everybody, go there to Studio WUCC and check us out. Now, there's a way that we're getting ready to do this, so you can do Facebook Live. So we'll have to figure out whose Facebook we're going to do, because they don't let you do a business Facebook Live.
Right.
So we got to figure it out, because you were doing yours at one time.
I was,
and,
yes.
And we're getting a lot of things like that as well. So anyway, so let's do this here. Let's talk about Pokemon. Let's open it up to the phone lines right now. And if you know anything about, tell us what you know about Pokemon.
Right, tell us.
Tell us, you call in right now, you help educate us on what is Pokemon. Help us out. Tell us what it is. What do you know about it? And then we're going to run a little video here in just a little bit from Stephen Dollins. That's his name, Stephen Dollins. And he's an ex-Satanist.
Yes.
And he's on the Prophecy Club, and he's going to share with us some things about.
He exposes.
He does. He exposes about Pokemon. He talks about Dungeons and Dragons. And there's another role play, and I can't remember what it is, but he talks about that as well. But he just lets people be aware.
Right.
Of
I think a few weeks ago on As For Me and My House on Saturdays,
they did some stuff.
They did some stuff like this on. I think they brought Pokemon in, some other things, talking about it, and things that you think are so innocent that you don't know. I don't know anything about Pokemon, so I'll be the first to say I really had no idea when I listened to this today that it was. I knew it was kind of weird,
right?
But I really didn't know about it,
Right. Keep it up. I'm gonna try to get it going, and we'll jump.
Yeah,
right
so
to it.
you're gonna go ahead and run the video.
Yeah, we'll
okay.
try to get to it here. Real
try
quick.
to get to it. Okay. But when I read it, it says Stephen Dollins. He's an ex-high priest in the Church of Satan.
Now,
he exposes. Oh, you got it ready?
No, go ahead.
Okay. On the Prophecy Club concerning just a movie series, but now prominent game Pokemon. And I've been seeing all kind of things on the news where people are like wrecking their cars and stuff and doing all kind of crazy stuff trying to find these little Pokemon things or whatever it is. And then when I listened to it on the thing, he was talking about how it's a pocket monster.
Yeah, pocket monster.
Yeah, I didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah, so, I go back in the 90s when I don't know if I was that old. I guess I was old. Yeah, I'd be old anybody now. But I know back in the 90s when all this was going on with the kids and everything about the pocket monsters. I knew they were pocket monsters.
Right.
They had the cards, they had the stickers,
Right.
they had the video games, and that's all they did was stick with these little video games, and they just play with these pocket monsters and all.
And see,
I'm
I don't think my boys ever did. Maybe maybe that's how I missed it. That wasn't something they were interested in.
I see.
So I didn't know. I mean, this is crazy to me.
Okay, here we're going to try to run it. I'm not sure how we're going to set this thing up here, but we're going to run. I think I'm going to turn the volume off over here.
Okay. Getting this set up so we can let y'all listen to it for those of you out there.
Yeah, I hope I don't mess this up. I think I done this the other day, mess this thing up. Here we go. We're going to run this here. It's a Pokemon exposed by ex-Satanist Stephen Dollins. Let's go ahead and see what he's got to say here.
Now listen, if
Now,
we put this on and y'all can't hear us,
a
call
lot
us
of
and let us
things
know.
come over
That's
from
right.
the Orient. A lot of things come over from the Orient. And some things have a big impact on us and some things don't. I can't think of anything that come over from the Orient that actually had a big impact or a phenomenon type craze
Godzilla.
other than Godzilla.
But there is something
But
new.
there is something new that's come over to the United States and has actually captured the minds and the imagination of every single child. And you know what? It's not new at all. Japanese kids have been watching this thing since 1995. It started out as a cartoon, went to a comic book, they made it into a video.
Went to toys, collectible card games.
Now, a lot of things come over from the Orient.
And it was
A
started
big
in 1995.
pocket monster.
Not new,
And it even made the
kids.
but they actually had another name for it before they renamed it. When this creature first came out, it was called Hypno. And they changed it to Polyworld to make it a little more
Pocket monster. And it even made the
innocent.
cover of Time magazine.
But you see what it actually does is it's supposed to be able to mesmerize and hypnotize its enemies.
That you've seen before.
And you can see how that would happen. That starts spinning around, and it's just like one of those hypnotic wheels that they use to hypnotize. And you see up here in the top, here's a creature, an alligator-type creature over here, dragon, kind of a funny duck-billed thing down here. And this is an interesting character over here. This character over here is called Mewtwo.
You see what it actually does.
And Mewtwo looks like an alien. If you look at him real carefully, he looks like an alien. But you know, the first thing that I noticed about that thing is, when I looked at it, and I looked at those eyes, I said, you know what? That kind of looks like the things that we used to pray to inside that circle.
Here's a creature, an alligator-type creature.
Now you notice that he has a particular salute that he's given. And he's in this
And this is an interesting character over here. This character over here is called
pose. Every time that you see Mewtwo, he's in this pose. Now he has 3 fingers.
Look at him real carefully. He looks
And
like
those 3 fingers are...
the first thing that I noticed about that thing is, when I looked at it, and I looked at those eyes,
Yeah, look at that creature.
I said, you know what?
Always sticking out like that. Now, he doesn't have 5 fingers like we
I never
do.
realized those
He has 3.
Look at the big hand.
But if they were the 3 on us, they'd be
That's what
this.
he does with his hand, though.
And that doesn't mean hook 'em horns, doesn't mean I love you, doesn't mean one more. It means hail Satan. It's the satanic salute that all Satanists identify themselves with.
He has 3. But if they
And it says here, you look here, it says for many kids it's now an addiction. Very much so. Cards, video games, toys, a new movie. Is it bad for them? What we need to look at is whether or not that particular statement holds true. Is it bad for them?
Yeah. Pictures. You don't know.
Here's one of the characters. Cute little one. Everybody, okay, everybody go. Oh, come on. I know you wanted to do that, see? That's why I did that. He's cute. But the one thing I've noticed about him right off, this is Pikachu. One thing I noticed about him right off was his tail. It's a lightning bolt, and it's a satanic Z. It even comes down here to a point.
Yeah.
Now, just by looking at him alone is not enough to really be able to say, okay, yeah, that's bad, or that's satanic. What we first need to do is we need to look at the actual production of these things. And the first thing we need to do is we need to look at who actually produced the trading card game that has captured the minds and the imaginations of our children. Now, it doesn't make any difference what I say, it's what their own material says, because their own material will give them away. Okay? So I'm going to read to you, here's the direct quote from the web pages of the producer of this game. Listen to this.
Captured the minds and the imaginations of our children. Now, it doesn't make any difference what I say, it's what their own material says, because their own material will give them away. Okay?
The Pokémon trading card game is a new collectible card game that is made and distributed by Wizards of the Coast. What is a wizard? Male practitioner of black magic. Wizards of the Coast, the same company that made the best-selling game Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering is a heavily occult-laced trading card game which has been very popular in the 90s. And I should also tell you that Wizards of the Coast also owns a subsidiary company named TSR, and TSR is the company that puts out all Dungeons and Dragons material.
Other game.
Yeah.
So let's look at
Then he's going to jump back to Pokemon.
Magic the Gathering, because this is the same company that puts out Pokemon. So let's see where they're coming from. Now, from seeing the symbols, your actual discernment should now begin to be sharpened.
Magic the Gathering.
How many see a circle?
From seeing the symbols,
How many see a pentagram? Yeah. If you look,
How many see a circle?
there it is.
I see a circle. I
See
don't
that?
See a pentagram.
I don't see the pentagram.
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering. This is a role-playing game. Now, parents, in case you don't know what that is, that means that your child actually becomes a character in the game.
I do see it.
Actually becomes a part of the game. And that's what makes it exciting, is there's not many games out there that they can actually become a part of. They can play it, but they don't actually become a part of it. In this particular game, they actually do become a character in the game. And remember, it said that it's an occult game. One of the dangers of this thing is, being a role-playing game, is that it's played with the mind. How many know that the mind is a very fragile thing? And what happens
Played with the mind. How many know that the mind is a very fragile thing?
is in these role-playing games, well, I'm going to use the example of Dungeons and Dragons because TSR is the one that puts out all their material. The danger of Dungeons and Dragons, or any kind of role-playing game like this, is that it's played with the mind, and when played with the mind begins to lose that fine line with what's real and what's fantasy. And the more you get into the fantasy world, the more it seems real, and all of a sudden now you don't know what's real and what's not. In Dungeons and Dragons, this is a game played by 3 or 4 people. And what you do is you have one particular person that's the dungeon master, and he sets all the rules up for this thing. And then in your mind, you actually fight battles. You go through mazes, you go through dungeons, and you actually fight wars with evil wizards, dragons, demons, powerful satanic beings. It's all in the mind. And I mean, if you've got a vivid imagination, you can have one heck of a game. And what happens is that you can play this game for 10 to 12 years. Because the object is, as long as your character is alive, you're in the game. Once your character dies or gets killed in that particular game, you're out. So you can imagine that if a person loses touch with reality and now they've actually become that character, guess what? Anything that happens to that character now happens to them. And there's overwhelming evidence, psychiatrists and psychologists both tell us, there's overwhelming evidence showing that a lot of teenage suicides that are caused by Dungeons and Dragons are caused because the player has finally lost touch with reality. And what's happened to them now, they actually feel a psychic bond with that character, and so the character gets killed off and no longer in the game. You have no purpose, because all your purpose was for the last 10 to 12 years was playing Dungeons and Dragons. So your character gets knocked off, guess what? So do you. So let's go back to Magic the Gathering. Here's one of the cards. Yeah, isn't he cute? This is Cabal Ghoul. Now, you notice that there's counters up here. In other words, this stands for 2 points. And it says Cabal Ghoul. Now, in case you don't know what a ghoul is, it's a dead, rotting, decaying thing that's been in the ground and magically summoned back to life. So you have a walking dead thing. And that's what a ghoul is. And in this particular thing, it says, at the end of each turn, put a 1+1 counter on Cabal Ghoul for each other creature that died during the turn and was not regenerated. In other words, you have cards that will actually keep your character alive for a certain amount of time. Here's another interesting card, because it's called the All Hallows Eve card. Again, this is all in Magic.
What are we going to do about Halloween?
Magic the Gathering. By the way, there was a news clip that I read about 2 weeks ago that spoke of a young boy in Maine. I don't remember what the town was, but it was in Maine. And he came home one day and asked his mother about Magic the Gathering and said that the teacher had decided to use Magic the Gathering, this card game, as a new and exciting way to teach mathematics in school, in their class. And they even formed what was called a magic club, and that all the kids were part of this magic club. Well, the mother said, well, you're not going to become a part of that. You're not going to be in that. But one of the kids had given him one of the cards, and that card he showed to his mother, and that card was called Necromancer. And on that card it showed spiritual beings actually being risen up out of the ground, out of their grave. And then he asked his mother, what does summon mean? And she said, why do you ask that? And she said, he told her, he said, because all the kids on recess go outside on the school grounds, pick up huge sticks, wave them in the air and say, spirits, enter me.
I'm going to tell you right now, my kid come home
True.
and said that. He would no longer be.
This is All Hallows Eve. Again, 2 points symbolized by 2 skulls. Here's your demonic black cat. I guess it's a black cat. I've never seen anything look like that. There's your demon in the middle, jack-o'-lantern, full moon, and it says this card is called sorcery. Sorcery comes from the Greek word pharmakeia. That's where we get the word pharmaceutical. In occultism, it's witchcraft through drugs. Sorcery.
Yeah.
And it says put 2 counters on this card, remove a counter during your upkeep, and when you remove the last counter from All Hallows Eve, all players take all creatures from their graveyards and put them directly into play. Treat these creatures as though they were just summoned. You choose what order they come into play. Remember, that again, this is a role-playing game. This is called the Magician. I wonder why. Here you see the man kneeling, and look, he's forming with his hands the triangle. Right there. He's kneeling in front of a flame. There are the crescent moons behind him. Over here can only be demons. Hellfire all around here. It's called the Magician. And these are collectible cards. And these are cards that one day your child may come home with, or may know of a student that has given him some of these cards. Now you will know what they are.
Parents just let them get involved with anything.
So let's go back to Pokemon, because now we've already established that the same company that puts out that game and puts out Dungeons and Dragons puts out cute little Pokemon. Isn't that interesting?
Right.
And the Bible
now, before we go any further, I want to see that if we as a group can agree on something. So I need little audience participation here to say yes or no. Okay? Are you into that?
Are you into that?
Okay.
You get ready to get into Pokemon.
Listen to me carefully. If we examine the characters of this particular program, and they are the kind of role models that we want our kids to be watching. In other words, if this whole game, the characters of this game, the monsters, this whole premise of this thing actually goes to establish the kind of values, the kind of standards, and the kind of morals that we want our kids to have when they reach adulthood, that it's okay. In other words, if they actually help to establish the kind of morals, values, and standards that we want our children or our grandchildren to have when they get to be an adult, that it must be all right. Can we agree on that? Okay. So what we need to do is we need to examine and see what kind of role models we have in this game. Now, what we need to do then, everybody go, oh, again. Oh, I know, he's cute, isn't he? Little satanic tail. Up here is the Pokemon ball. Okay, that's this thing here. Okay, and inside of that, you catch the Pokemon. Let the camera get a view of that.
That's what they use now.
That's the Pokemon ball, and you actually catch the monster inside of that thing and harness the power in there. And then you can call on that power to regenerate itself outside of that ball, and praise God, it turns into a bigger and better monster. Now, we're told that there are 150 species of these particular creatures on the face of the earth. And we're also told in the material that these pocket monsters are creatures that inhabit the world with humans.
Sounds like demons.
And
Demons.
that they can evolve and grow in bigger and better creatures. Now, the object of this game is gotta catch 'em all. And they tell you that if you catch 'em all, you become a Pokemon master. Listen, parents, that word master will appeal to any child. Because they can become a somebody. They can become a master. And you know what? If you're the master of something, you don't need mom, you don't need dad, you don't need grandparents, you don't need aunts and uncles, you don't need school, and you probably don't even need a church. Because you're a master. You can become a god. That's the premise of what this has been teaching. You become the Pokemon master. That's the whole premise and the whole goal of this game. Now, this is the main character right here. He's called Ash Ketchum. Not Hal Ketchum, but Ash Ketchum. Okay? And again, it doesn't make any difference what I say, it's what their own material says. I'm going to tell you what they describe him as. Listen to this. An energetic and determined 10-year-old who's a little too competitive, and he's obsessed with catching all Pokemon and driven to become the world's foremost Pokemon master. And you know, every time that your children watch this program, whether it's a video, whether it's a cartoon, whether it's a comic book, no matter what it is, they hear this mantra, this rap song that's played over again. And it says, I will travel across the land searching far and wide each Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. And then it's enchanted to them. Gotta catch them all. Over and over and over and over again. You know what it does? It fuels your child's craving for more cards, more books, more videos, more movies. It's designed to do that. That's what we call enchanting. Here's the next character. This is Misty. Look at this. Now this is off of a comic book. This is actually a page of a comic book. But if this was clear, if this was actually clear, you'd see that that's a halter top. It stops right there. And she's got short shorts on, and you know she's got to be about the same age as what Ash is, okay? And she's described as Ash's companion, and listen what it says about her. She's headstrong and stubborn, constantly arguing with Ash. Typical woman. No, just kidding. God forgive me, all right. Frivolous spirit, that's what it was. And here's Brock over here in the corner, and Brock is by far the most hormonal, because his fascination with the opposite sex many times gets him or the group in trouble. Well, then there's Pokemon trainer Gary. And Gary's not pictured in here, but Gary is a real self-centered jerk. He's vindictive and he's obnoxious. And then there are two characters, and one's called Jesse, and the other one's called James.
And listen what it says
Jesse
about
James.
them. It says, prepare for trouble, make it double. Jesse and James are an evil gang looking to steal rare Pokemon. Jesse and James are stuck up, fashion conscious, and you know what? In the program, they're also prone to cross-dressing.
Oh, come on now.
Wow.
Wow, it's amazing.
Now, if you don't know what that means that if you feel like you're a woman in a man's body, you wear women's clothing.
What do you think
You
about
dress
that?
like one. If you're a woman who feels manly, you wear men's underclothing and dress like one. Cross-dressing.
That's what they've been
what kind of
teaching
role
all
model
these
would that
kids
be?
and all
Yeah.
this stuff.
Okay, now remember at the first, I think that's enough right here, because I think we've got a pretty well good establishment on this thing.
That's what we're going to do.
Remember
now.
that I said that if the characters were the kind of role models that established the kind of values, standards, and morals that we wanted our kids to have when they got to be an adult, that this game or this particular thing is okay. Remember we said that? Okay, so let's examine what we got. Let's see. Headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
Want to know why our kids are messed up?
Right, right.
I don't know about you, but I mean, even if I wasn't a Christian parent, I wouldn't want my kids to grow up with those kind of traits.
Right.
Then we have to actually say that the characters of this game don't biblically stand up, do they? In other words, they don't represent the kind of values and standards we want our kids to have. And they're definitely not the role models we want our kids to be. But these are the characters that our children are identifying with day after day after day, playing this game, watching the cartoon, reading the books, looking at the videos.
You know, that's just amazing to me.
Yeah, let's just take a break here just for a moment. And we got about 2 minutes. We're going to take a break, but go ahead with your comment there.
I mean, you know, that's just amazing. I'm sitting here watching this and thinking, how on earth could parents sit and let their kids watch this stuff?
Right.
I mean, I know it'd have to be out of ignorance because they just don't know.
Right. Well, they don't know what's going on with
Right,
it.
they don't know what's going on with it, you know, and now this phenomenon with Pokemon Go, and there's adults chasing, I don't even understand how the whole concept works.
Yeah.
How they go places and they're looking for them, and I mean, that doesn't even compute with me because that is so, I mean, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, well, you know, what he was talking about was saying that there's a quest.
Right.
And if you can get all of these, then you can become a Pokemon master.
Right.
You know, so they download this program on their phone, or a smartphone.
Right.
And it superimposes wherever they go with coordinates, superimposes on their phone these demonic creatures. Well, no, pocket monsters.
Yeah.
Because not my term.
It's their
term.
Right.
Pocket monsters.
Right.
And what you're able to do is because different ones have different values, and you got to get them all. You've got to get them everywhere. You got to get them all. So what they do is they take their smartphone out and they hold it in front of them, and they're able to go through these, you know, anywhere because they're superimposed through coordinates.
Yeah, because I saw some kind of crazy. I wish I'd have kept it now because I just scrolled on through it. It was some vet getting on to some guy because they were in the veteran cemetery.
Yes.
Looking for Pokemon or something like that, and I'm like, what is up with that?
Yeah, and then I saw one on television where a man was driving.
Yeah.
He was driving with his smartphone. Well, that's just like anybody else now. You know, they've got their smartphones and they're texting.
Right.
But this guy was driving with his smartphone, and he was driving. He was picking up pocket monsters wherever he was going because you got to get your phone on the coordinate, and with the round ball, you capture them with the ball. So you got to get the ball.
So it's all kind of like virtual
It's
type
all virtual.
stuff. Okay,
so
all right.
So you got to get this round ball on the screen, you know, where you're at,
right,
to where it's superimposed. You got to get it all lined up, and then you are able to capture him. This guy ran over the policeman's car.
Oh, wow.
He says, I got to get it. And he turned that corner to the right, and he just ran up all over the policeman's car.
Wow.
Crunched it, and then he ran. The police got him and chased them all down. And I guess the policeman must have been a pocket monster, too. I mean, guy, because he said, all right to be all right with me. You know, I'm going, this is crazy stuff.
This is crazy. It is crazy stuff. You want to talk about supernatural stuff and how the enemy just uses something like this that everybody thinks is an innocent game, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, but when you start looking at all these little creatures and what they represent, I guess really would be no different, Pastor, than back in the 70s when Parker Brothers, I believe, brought out the Ouija board.
The Ouija board and
all these parents bought it for their kids for Christmas, thinking it was just, this harmless whatever.
That's right.
And that's just how the enemy works. He gets in there on things that you think are harmless. There's no big deal, and just let it go.
Well, let's do this here real quick. I've got to run a commercial here. So we have a person who is now supporting. It's really supernatural, so I want to make sure I run this here.
Yes.
Is a Dr. Sheila Milo, and a wonderful lady.
Yes, she is.
Right here in town, and she's a medical doctor. She does all kind of stuff.
All kind of stuff.
I'm getting to the point. I'm getting to her. I've got to get some stuff done.
Right.
So I'm just trying to check out. Dr. Milo may be the one. Right
That's
here.
right. Check out Dr. Milo. Here you go.
So here we go. Run this for Dr. Milo. This is wonderful right here. Here we go.
Do you have pre-diabetes, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, high blood pressure, or are you overweight? If so, please contact me, Dr. Milo, at Premier Medical and Metastatic Center, so I can help you manage your medical problems. Call 803-617-7555. That's 803-617-7555. I'm committed to your total health and wellness.
Now, this lady here is awesome, and she's a spirit-filled Christian woman.
Yes, she is.
And loves God, and has got a great work going here.
Right.
So I want to encourage you. I mean, like someone called me the other day and they said, "Well, Brother Schaefer, do you go to the doctor?" And I go, "Yes, I go to the doctor.
If I have to.
Yeah, if I have to, I go to the doctor and I get all checked out and everything.
That's right.
And then, we pray and seek God and see what the Lord does, and then we see what the doctor's going to do as well. So
that's right.
I mean, so I honestly, let's do this here. If we didn't have doctors, a lot of us wouldn't be here.
That's right.
Hello. So Dr. Milo is gifted, not only that, but in prayer and taking care of you, and also checking you all out and everything. She'll give you a good word from God.
She's a good internal medicine doctor. That's
wonderful,
right.
Wonderful lady. So let's get on back to our program here. So let's talk about here the Pocket Monsters. So if we're going to open the phone lines up, it's 733. You got a comment, got a question?
Yeah, give us a call.
What do I see about this here is that when you read their literature about it, they tell you the history of their company.
Right.
And it's about sorcery. It's about the dark side.
Yes.
And all these other games as well is to ensnare our children in
everything they've produced.
Everything they do.
Yeah.
So when we look at this here, all the different monsters, the pocket monsters that have different powers, and they have different strengths.
Different personalities that go with them, too, because that's what he was talking about, the different personalities.
Yeah.
Like,
and, and you see some of these kids flip at different times.
Right.
Now, they go into the role-playing again.
Yes.
In reality, sometimes I don't think they're actually role-playing. They are actually what they think they are.
What they think they are, that's right.
What they've been
we
playing.
We got a couple of texts. Jason and them were listening and said it sounded good, but I actually got a text from Tanya Miller, and she gave me a link here, said that there's another trading game that kids are playing, and I went on and I cannot pronounce it, but it's called... it's another one of those weird Chinese looking games.
Ooh, that looks bad, doesn't it?
And and they've even got some. She gave me a couple links, and they're even having a big thing in Orlando.
Yeah.
And I'm like, great day, these things are really
right along with all those other theme parks down there and everything, right?
I mean, it's amazing. But I know a few weeks ago I was listening to the Children's Bread. No, not the Children's Bread. As for Me in My House, with Dana Works and Jason and Paige, and they were talking about a lot of this stuff. And she actually had her daughter come in. I think it was Jordan, and was talking about. I don't think it was Pokemon specific. They called it something else, but it was another one of these, character role playing type things. It was all kind of interesting.
This is my interest in it. My interest in it is. Let me see what it is, explain it to me, so that I can see how the enemy is hooking our children.
Exactly.
Instead of just, hey, here's a game. Yeah, they're playing Pocket Monsters, all of them over there, and you push your kids in the corner, and they all got their little games, and they're out playing around, doing all the stuff. Y'all, there's something bigger. There's something bigger going on in this here, and I even read some things on the net about this, and some said it was a spoof, that it wasn't real, but that it was created by this particular version of it to where, you go out and you search everywhere. I mean, us using our technology now
Right.
to be able to do this. But to where it was gauged against Christian families, Christian
Wow.
homes. I mean,
Yeah.
they said that they targeted the Christians and that it was developed to get their minds away from any Christian type thing.
Wow.
Into this here. They wanted to take their minds down this avenue
Right.
here to just, focus on it. Now, that is what I saw in the video, in the interview.
Right.
Of the developers of the program. They said we developed it, and that I had a vindictive spirit towards Christians, and I developed it like this here. I knew I could hook them and get them all into this kind of stuff. Now the thing is that do we believe that there are doorways,
Absolutely.
spiritual
Yes.
doorways that children can knock on, and and demons enter.
Yeah, and very
them.
innocently do it.
I
Yeah.
know that Christian said, I have really, I have really got to work on this. Y'all got to really pray for me. You gotta pray for me because there, and it might be, I might need some deliverance in this thing here, but it's to the point to where someone will say, but I'm covered under the blood, Pastor, and can't nothing harm me or hurt my children or anything.
We're still flesh.
I'm going this here. If you put a Ouija board in your children's hands and you let them play with it, I don't care how much you sit back and say, I'm covered under the blood, Pastor.
Right.
And, they're going to be all right. You don't understand the spiritual world
Right.
in which we're involved in, is that, yes, there is a truth in the fact, in the blood of Jesus, but there's the truth in the fact is that if you go stand in the enemy's camp,
Right.
you're going to come back with something. You're going to come back with fleas if you lay down with dogs, huh?
You're going to get up with fleas.
You're
That's
gonna
right.
Get up with fleas. You're going to
That's
come
right.
back with
Right.
something. You just can't go into a witch's tavern or cavern or whatever you want to call it, into a psychic place, and don't think
Right.
that you don't come out with something.
Right.
And that's the same thing as entering into the games, and getting into the game and everything, and looking at it and playing it,
And thinking, oh, it'll be okay, just a
Exactly.
little bit. Reminds me of that sermon I heard one time about a little bit of trash won't hurt you.
Oh, that was
you just let a little bit in,
Yeah.
and it won't hurt you. And that's a doorway open right up.
That's right. Putting it into a salad.
Yeah, that was
You just-
Stephen. Yeah,
Put
Pastor
it in,
Stephen. Yes.
Put it into a salad. Mama was fixing a salad and reached over there and just into the garbage can and started
kept right on.
taking some stuff, put it right into the salad and mix it. Mama, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, it's all right. It's just a little bit of trash. It'll be all right. Kind of fill you up. No, Mama, what are you doing?
Right.
That's the same thing.
Exactly. Opening that door up. But I mean, when I saw that today and I was reading it, I was like, this stuff is amazing to me. And I guess maybe because my kids are grown, but I have grandchildren, and I'm going to be sending this to them. I want to make sure that our kids know what this is about. Look, just watch the video. Judge for yourself, but please watch the video.
Yeah. Well, I like the satanic symbols. Well, now I'm saying I like them.
I know what you're
like
saying.
being informed.
Informed about
being
them. Right.
informed about
Right.
it, what I see and everything, because it's all subliminal.
Subliminal.
And so that is what they're doing is
Sure.
by pulling you into these
Sure.
things, you can be aware of it. And they've probably got churches there. I'm telling this here.
Let's play
Please-
Pokemon Go.
Please don't pay please. No, not
Don't bring it to our
don't bring
church.
it to University Parkway. Leave Pokemon Go out at the car. Leave
Yeah.
it out at the parking lot.
Absolutely.
Don't bring it in there and say we got demons. We got pocket monsters all through the church and everything. We
Absolutely.
already know that.
We got enough of that already. We're dealing with.
We already know we got some problems. We got some stuff going on there.
But Pastor, you think about this kind of stuff. I remember reading an article back, way back when we first started this deliverance ministry at the church, and we were talking about the Ouija board and the cult. And when we read that article, it said that when Parker Brothers said that when they created this game or brought this game and said that this sold by the millions that first year for Christmas.
Right.
People were bringing this into their homes, and they were talking about another ex-Satanist, and he was talking about how, he said people were just flocking to get this stuff, bringing all this evil and this occult into their home and had no idea.
Right.
Absolutely no
Open
idea
the
about it.
doorways up.
Yeah, just open the
Open
doorways,
the doorways up. And I think there's a time what everybody needs to do is go through their home, start cleaning things out. When
Right.
God starts showing you.
Right.
we're talking about doorways.
Right.
That I believe that this Pokemon is a doorway
Sure.
to our children. They want our children. And, of course, adults.
And adults too, right.
They start playing. I mean, crashed the car right into the policeman's car.
Yes.
Someone got into a duking fest like you were talking about
Right.
up there at the
cemetery.
At the cemetery,
Yeah.
the National Cemetery. So it can become
and it's
compulsive.
like another diversion to me with everything that's going on in the world right now. It's just another diversion. I think people are just. I mean, I was reading an article. I went to study this guy because I wanted to read some more about it. And he said, in one of his articles, he says, I bet I could walk through most Christian homes, people who call themselves Christians, walk through their homes and point out tons of things and symbols and different things that they have in their home that they have no idea that is related to the occult.
Wow.
Things that they brought in. He said, as an ex-Satanist, he said, I could go into people's homes and they just ignorantly have stuff there.
Just different things that we talk about just right off the top of our head. See people come to church.
Right.
And I love to see everybody. I want everybody to come to church, and be involved in what we're doing. But
Sure.
when you start seeing people come in, and I see people come in with the peace symbols.
Right.
Right. They don't realize that the peace symbol, the circle with the broken cross, upside down cross, it's a broken cross.
Right.
The peace symbol is the cross upside down, broken.
And I didn't know that till we studied this a year or so ago. I had no idea.
You see all these kind of things and you realize, well, why are they having problems? Or earrings, peace earrings,
Right.
and things like that. And, the upside down cross is the witch's foot, the claw of the witch's foot.
Right.
And these kind of things. But they're doorways. Someone says, well, I don't believe in all that. Do your own research.
Right.
Do your own research and see what this is. So let's do this here. Is there a problem with the wearing the pentagram? I mean, it's the Satan's symbol, the pentagram. So is there a problem with that? Then if you as a Christian don't see a problem with that, I know you're not going to see a problem with Pokemon.
Exactly.
You're not going to see a
Right.
problem with the peace symbol. You're not going to see a problem
Right.
with any of these other things.
Well, if they just go out and study it and do their own research on it, they can see for themselves.
That's
when
right.
they read it. Because a lot of things I didn't know about.
Right.
I was ignorant to that fact.
Right.
And I think once you find out, now the Lord's holding you accountable to what you know. Because before I really did not know.
Yeah.
And there were things in our house when we went through and cleaned out that I just, I
Right.
had no idea.
Well, I just really thought that the Pokemon movement was behind us,
Yeah,
back in
and
the
now
90s
here we
thing.
are, yes.
Here we are going again with it. And the thing is, you had those people back then, the ex-Satanists trying to tell us, hey, warning us and warning about our
right.
children. It's a warning.
Right.
It's just a warning symbol.
Yeah.
Just a warning. Just a warning.
Just trying to tell you what they're trying to do.
What they're trying to do to our children. And getting in there talking about the cross-dressers. The cross-dressing. Did they go through that part there? The
Yes,
cross-dressing?
yes.
And to where they're slowly putting that in to where our children will be in the game.
Right.
If they're a man but want to put on female clothes,
It's okay.
It's okay
because they
because
do it
it's-
in Pokemon.
because they do it in Pokemon.
Right.
And they are slowly slipping that in with our children and what have you in that. And you go, you mean that's in Pokemon? Yes.
Yes,
Listen
it
to what
is.
they're telling
Right.
you, everybody.
And they're telling you. Something else that I saw recently, too, Pastor, was the ex-Satanists. They were talking about, the Satanic Club, they're trying to start an after-school program in schools, in public schools.
Wow.
And that they can do it, and we can't do anything about it because it's religious liberty.
Is that right?
Yes. And they're saying if you can have this club and all these clubs in school, then you cannot. I'm sorry, I just got that text and it's messed me up. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
But everybody's texting us about this program, aren't they?
But you think about that. Now they're trying to work their way into the schools. And I read some articles up on that, and they said because the schools allow other Christian clubs and different things that you cannot tell them they can't do it.
That's right.
Now, they do have to have a permission slip signed by their parent.
That's right.
But, still, and this is in elementary schools.
Right. I got one here from the symbol of the Mercedes, the broken cross. Someone's talking about. Let's see what this other one is here. I am still in need of breakfast items for tomorrow's meeting.
That's tomorrow.
That's Sister Schaefer.
Yeah, that's Sister
I don't need to
Schaefer.
read that. Was Sister Schaefer there?
I got that one
some
too.
more. We got
Right.
some more here as well. But anyway, so there's all kind of symbols that are out there that they
Right.
use that are hidden, and we know that.
And you don't
Thank
know
you
about
for that
it,
information, Sherry, as well.
So yeah, that's Sherry Boone. She's our she's a faithful listener all the way
She-
from Barnwell.
She keeps us up to date.
That's right.
On what's taking place with a lot of these different things. She sends us stuff all the time. So appreciate.
But I encourage
all our
these
work.
people to research some of this stuff and look for it, especially if you've got young children at home and bringing these things home from school, because thankfully I don't have any children, but if I heard even Jace going, he'll be 9 this month and he come home with something like this.
Right. Let me
Oh,
see if I
no.
can't go ahead and put in we'll take a break here for a
Okay.
moment. Somebody, hey, let's do this here. You want to call in? 803-335-3131. That's 803-335-3131. Got a comment, got a question, you call right on here to the studio
Call.
here. And, we'll put you right on the air. Tell us what you think about this Pokemon craze that's going on.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Come on, give us a call.
Yeah, give us a call here. I'm going to run here just for a few more moments, this program here, and then we're going to see Oh, here we go. We got a phone call right here. Hey, caller, you're live and on the air. Got a comment, got a question?
Hey, Pastor. Hey, Dana. How y'all doing? This is Jason.
Hey,
Wonderful,
Jason.
wonderful. How you doing today, brother?
Wonderful. Y'all sent a great program. I just could not resist. I was trying to hold off and let somebody else call in, but I can't help myself. When we look at this Pokemon stuff, the thing we talked about a couple of weeks on the program on Saturday with as for me and my house was this anime thing, this Japanese art is. There was one called, it ties in with Pokemon, it's called The Butler. And the Butler was a demonic figure that was trying to get revenge. And it used a little boy in the cartoon, in the story, to exact his revenge on the people that killed him and his family, I believe.
Wow, okay.
And so we look at these things like that, and it all ties in with this stuff. And so as parents, we need to be vigilant. We need to watch what our children or we need to pay attention to what our children are watching. We need to examine it. But at the same time, as parents, we need to examine what we're putting in.
Absolutely.
And I think that,
Right.
to me, that is the number one thing. I was talking to somebody at work about it the other day. They said, people are just going crazy anymore. And I said, well, let's look at it. Our number one source of input anymore is media.
Yeah.
And so I don't have cable television. We just have over-the-air broadcasting. And so we think that's good. I don't have cable, la-di-da.
Right.
And so we look at it, and all the programs that come on in prime time on TV they're either about murder, there's some sort of sexual scandal, they're adultery and infidelity running
Yes.
rampant, and they're all beautiful people. None of them get STDs or anything like
Y'all
that.
need to get the Hallmark Channel, bro, is
Hey,
what y'all
yeah,
need.
right.
Christmas in August.
But consequently, we just don't watch TV.
That's right.
Right.
Because it's garbage in, garbage will come out.
Right.
I mean, how many times do we? And the spiritual side of it is, how often do we hear about a serial killer, whether it's Jeffrey Dahmer, the BTK fellow
Yes.
up in Kentucky that was a deacon in his church, and they said, well, they interviewed the neighbors, they interviewed the people from the church. They said, well, that's the nicest guy I've ever met. I'd have never thought he would do
Yeah.
something like this. But that's the point. They take in these spirits. To say it's not spiritual, that's just sticking your head in the sand.
Absolutely.
Because when you take in these things, whether it's Pokemon or whatever it is, you are letting your mind go.
Well,
And
Jason.
by letting your mind go, you're not concentrating on Christ.
Yeah, and I think what it is that, especially being in a ministry where we see, we're helping people set them free. We see a spirit that will take on the name of these entities
Yes.
that they're being fed. We helped set someone free that had the Zozo. Remember that?
Oh yes.
The Zozo spirit, and the clown that was called the Zozo. Is that
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
Remember
yeah.
that?
That's
and,
right. Yeah.
and it took on, that demon took on that name, and the doorway was when they played that, watch that.
Right.
And the thing too is that with this
Right.
Pokemon, it's not the ones that are able to deal with this, and there's not a problem. It's when you start to play this, and there's a spirit there.
Right.
The doorway's open like the Ouija board.
Right.
There can be thousands played with, It's the one.
The one, right.
That is opened up that now your child is being oppressed now by a spirit.
Right. And, you think about all those things, but I think a lot of times, Pastor, people don't think about the spiritual realm being real.
Right.
I mean, the way we do because of what we've seen.
Well, I think the Pokemon, if you can agree with this, Jason, here, if you look at the Pokemon Go and you put the screen up and you see all these little demons out there, I mean, I can't say that word.
Don't say that. The little pocket monsters.
People will leave when I say that word.
Demons.
Yeah, pocket monster. You see these little pocket monsters out there. That is just like it is in the spiritual world.
Sure.
That there are demonic entities that are out there, and they're
and
everywhere.
attached to things, right.
And attached to things, and they're out there waiting, roaming, tormented, wanting to get a home, to get in. And that's just I honestly believe this game is getting our children and adults so that they can look through the veil.
Sure.
And when they see through the veil, like their phones, see through the veil, that they're able to. This demonic realm
doesn't even bother them.
Doesn't frighten them anymore. They've already seen it.
Right.
Do you understand what I mean? It's just a tool that the enemy's using. That's what I believe anyway.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, and you look at the movie that's coming out now with Disney is Peach Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody offered to take our child to go see that, and thankfully our daughter said, well, yeah, I'd like to, but I really don't know
enough about it.
To my parents about it, and we said, well, hey, what is a dragon? That's completely demonic, and what it is to desensitize us, like you're saying, to where when it happens,
we won't think anything about it.
Yeah.
No big deal at all.
Yeah, you remember the man that does the deliverance. Anyway, he had dragons in his house.
Right.
Derek Prince. And his father was really big in the English, English background and all. And they were given these dragons, that really was not nice, hanging on the wall. And he says, and God convicted him.
Totally.
And he got in there. They had so many personal and financial problems, and because they were hanging on the wall, and when they went into their house and finally started cleaning out their house of those dragons that went out, he said there was something that broke over his home, and there was a freedom that came that they had not had before.
Absolutely.
So I mean that's exactly what we're talking about here.
Absolutely.
But I'm gonna get on off the phone in case somebody else wants to call. But it's amazing how God works. We'll be talking about things that are happening with schools tomorrow, and it's just funny how it all ties together. And,
I know.
Y'all have a great night, great program.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thanks, you, Jason. God bless.
Yeah, because they're going to have a talk tomorrow. I've been listening to the advertisement all week about they're having the I forget the lady's name, the Association for Homeschoolers and all that on the show tomorrow. If you're thinking about taking your children out of public school, and I'm going to tell you right now, if I had a child in, and they came home with that.
Right.
I would march myself that day right up to the office, and they won't be here anymore.
Let me just go ahead and throw some things out here. This was several years ago. We worked at as we were putting together the church and moving forward, had an opportunity to buy 9 acres of property over there off the bypass, and it was a school that was had fallen down, dilapidated, and they were selling it. And put together a coalition of churches.
Right.
All it would take is 20 churches. I think it was like 20 churches to put $100 in a month.
Right.
Is what it was going to cost. And what we're going to do was take that school up to like 4 years. We already had people who were ready to staff it and everything.
Right.
And people were going to come and do the work on it. Is to be listening to this here. Is to be able to put $100 in a month, $100 a month. That would make the payments on the school.
Right.
Now you got to realize that people are going to they're going to pay to get into school.
Right.
So that was just going to give us the purchase of the property to get us in there. And, we looked at what all we had to do. I mean, we spent a lot of time in this here, and we called a big meeting together. And half the pastors said, well, I don't think our church can afford $100 a month.
Wow.
To put towards, and it was going to be Christian education.
I give a school for Christian.
Pentecostal.
Yeah.
Pentecostal Christian education in this area. You understand what I'm talking about?
That's so sad.
And it wound up going into being a funeral home.
Wow.
It's a funeral home. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I'm going, isn't this amazing here? So again, let me tell you the vision that I see in this here. They have the J.D. Lever School there.
Right.
And, they're getting building a new one.
Absolutely.
Going to be moving all that out, whatever they're going to do. Let's do this, everybody. let's purchase the school, get it what it needs to be, and make it a Christian school.
A Christian school, right.
You understand what I'm talking about? It said
yes.
this is where you can come and you can your children can be taught Christian values, and we're not going to do Pokemon, and we're not going to do this here, and we're not going to do that.
Right.
We're going to teach them some Christian things there.
Absolutely.
You know, that's where the vision, the lack of the vision for people to be able to say, hey, let's get together and let's do this here. It takes a coalition to do it.
Sure it does.
You know,
yes.
Hillary Clinton, I tell you, it takes a village to raise the children. Yeah. Or really the government. It takes the government to raise your children.
No, I have no comment on
that.
that.
I mean, that's what she said.
Yeah,
I
know.
I mean, she wrote the book. It takes a village to raise your children.
Right.
It takes more than just you to be able to do it, because it's going to take everybody. So you can send them to a Christian school. I'm beating on a dead horse.
And we didn't make it. We didn't make it past that subject tonight. We'll have to touch on that one another Friday night.
Let's do. Somebody you call in, we give you a minute. 803-335-3131.
That's right.
Talking about Pokemon Go. 803-335-3131. Got a comment? Got a question? I thought we was going to get a whole lot more done, didn't you?
I did. I know.
We're going to do an open forum. We're going to talk about body part transplants.
Yeah, we'll have to save that for another time. But if people want to go to YouTube, you're going to have all the link there and everything, so they can watch this full thing.
I'll make sure I put the link. If you go to It's Really Supernatural. Well, no, if you just go to our studio WCC, it's going to be up there in just a few moments. I will put in the description the link. The link to the whole video, so you can go watch it
This video is
yourself.
about 30 minutes long in total. So,
That's
but
right.
it's good. It's interesting. And for those parents or people out there listening that don't know anything about it, like I didn't when I saw it, I knew it was kind of weird. I've always thought it was kind of strange, but you know, I've often joked and said, "What happened to the good old cartoons we grew up with?" You know, Tom and
Woody
Jerry,
Woodpecker.
and all the ones. But you know.
Now I don't know about
it is what it is.
Some of the stuff was kind of wild in there, but it was nowhere near like what we have nowadays.
Not that we know of, anyway.
Yeah.
I still have
like Barney and Fred Hook.
Yeah,
all this kind. But I'm sure in that, if you look in it, the Hanna-Barbera cartoons and all, I'm sure you're gonna find an element of the satanic in it somewhere. You're gonna find it because he was working his way, weaving his way on in to all this stuff. Pokemon.
Right. Things that seem
what we
so
talk
innocent
about. Pokemon
that are
Go.
not. That's right.
So anyway, there's a lot that's been happening. Lots happening in the world right now.
It sure is. A lot going on. And I say parents, be vigilant and protect your children, because if you're not vigilant, they will. I mean, when I saw this, I was like, to me, that's sad.
Yeah.
That this is the kind of stuff our kids are watching.
Right. And here we go. We got a caller right here. All right, caller, you are live and on the air. We got to turn your phone off there. Or
turn your radio down,
off.
Please.
There you go.
Okay.
That's me turning it on. There you go. Now, there you go. Go ahead, caller. You got a comment? Got a question?
Yes, Pastor Schaefer. This is Brother Norman Hunter. How are you?
All right. What you got, Norman?
I just wanted to say I'm so very grateful on what you guys are doing at University Parkway Church of God.
Wonderful.
It's so very informative. I've been listening to you for weeks now, every day and all day and night.
Wonderful.
And, just want to say that I noticed when you were talking about the findings of this ferry in Mexico.
Oh,
I noticed that when you were talking about it at night, that I was being attacked more.
Wow.
You know, in the spirit,
yeah.
And wondering how I was going to get relief from God. And I just started praising God, and the more I praised Him, laying down at night for I don't know how many hours, I got relief.
All right.
Amen.
We're getting
Praise the Lord.
We're getting ready to run out of time here, Norman. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir. God bless you.
God bless. Thank you for your comment.
You're welcome.
All right. There you go. So we're trying to inform the body that is out there, everybody who's out there. Dana, I'm going to let you go ahead and say your goodbyes out here.
Well, I've enjoyed the program tonight, and I hope that this helps someone. I know it helped me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, help me.
And we're going to learn some more about it.
Yes, we are.
Pokemon number 1. We do a Pokemon number
That's
2.
right. God bless y'all.
When I become a Pokemon monsters, and the master, we'll let them all know. Well, anyway, God bless you. Thank you for being part of the program here tonight. I've been your host, Henry Schaefer. God bless you as you continue to serve the Lord. Tune in next week for another episode of It's Really Supernatural. I'm Henry Schaefer, and I want to thank you for listening to It's Really Supernatural program. Now tune in next week for more Acts of the Holy Spirit.